Welcome to New Sky TV. Netizens discuss Wang Hao's and sparkling gaze at Yiying. Did Wang Haozhen and Yiying develop feelings for each other during filming? However, in this competitive arena of editing and formulaic plots, Wang Haozhen unexpectedly became the stabilizing force in the eyes of the audience. Whenever he appeared on screen, the rhythm seemed to stabilize, emotions naturally settled, and the story took hold. What truly ignited the discussion was his gaze towards Yiying. It wasn't an exaggeratedly affectionate gaze, nor a deliberately designed ambiguous scene, but an extremely restrained yet subtly turbulent look. In just a second, emotions exploded like ignited sparks. Netizens described it as, "That wasn't acting, it was an emotion that couldn't help but leak out." As soon as the trailer was released, related clips quickly topped the trending topics list. The comment section was flooded with the phrase, "If that look in his eyes doesn't have something real, I'll be the first to doubt it." Some people analyzed his micro-expressions frame by frame: a slight raise of his eyebrows, a pause in his gaze, a suppressed smile at the corner of his mouth. Every detail released a dangerous yet sweet signal. It was an ambiguous zone between the character and reality, making it hard to tell whether it was necessary for the plot or an emotional overstepping of boundaries. What's even more intriguing is that the chemistry between the two actors in their scenes hardly needed any dialogue. A glance was exchanged, and the other immediately received it. A seemingly plain line of dialogue was full of emotional wrinkles hidden in pauses and breaths. There was no artificial sweetening, yet it was intoxicatingly sweet. Viewers began to realize that the truly sophisticated shipping points were never about intimate actions, but about the resonance of emotions. Wang Haozhen's charm also stems from this. He doesn't rely on exaggerated performances to gain attention, but uses his strong emotional control to inject a stable, cinematic quality into the short drama. Even with high-energy plot twists and turns, as long as he's there, the character's logic won't collapse, and the emotional trajectory will seem believable. This ability is extremely rare among short drama actors. Yiying's response is equally intriguing. Her performance wasn't a passive acceptance, but a precise counterattack. Her eyes held probing, evasiveness, and a fleeting moment of soft-heartedness, yet always maintained a sense of restraint. It was precisely this controlled acting that amplified the tension between the two. Netizens bluntly stated, they were not talking about love, they were talking about emotions. So the question arises, is this a case of feelings blossoming on set, or an illusion created by top-notch acting? Perhaps the answer isn't important. What matters is that in a time when audiences are already numb to formulaic performances, Wang Haozhen and Yiying, through their repeated eye contact, have reignited people's expectations for emotional expression in short dramas. When eyes begin to speak, when emotions surpass lines, the audience naturally wants to believe, even if only for a moment, that those sparks are real. This is precisely why this pairing evoked such a strong emotional response in such a short time. It wasn't hype built on marketing, it was an experience where viewers were forced into the trap. You might have clicked casually, but unknowingly you were drawn in by their emotions, and by the time you realized it, you were already rewatching the same eye contact, the same line of dialogue. What's most captivating is the unspoken ambiguity between them. Wang Haozhen's acting is known for its restraint. He's adept at suppressing his emotions, letting his love tug at the heartstrings between reason and impulse. Yiying, on the other hand, is the opposite. Her emotions are fluid and vibrant, overflowing like light, yet she knows when to rein them in. Thus, when his restraint meets her liveliness, the emotions create the most dangerous, yet most captivating tension. There's a scene with almost no dialogue, just a brief eye contact between the two across a crowd. The camera lingers for no more than 3 seconds, yet the comments section exploded. Some said that at that moment, it didn't feel like they were acting as a couple, but more like a heart almost crossing the line. This sense of balance between rationality and loss of control is precisely what's most scarce in short dramas. No wonder netizens can't help but ask, are they just characters in a relationship, or have their emotions transcended the script? But perhaps more important than the answer is that they've made the audience believe in one thing again: short dramas can also possess delicate, authentic, and thought-provoking emotional expression in an era flooded with fast-paced content. What truly endures is never melodramatic plot twists, but rather the lingering emotional warmth that resonates repeatedly. Wang Haozhen and Yiying have achieved just that. They aren't in a hurry to prove anything, but through countless eye contact and pauses and breath, They portray the feeling of being moved in a way that feels anything but cheap. Perhaps years later, looking back, people will realize that this wasn't just a highlight of a particular short drama, but a turning point where the aesthetics of short dramas truly matured. And at that juncture, Wang Haozhen and Zhai Yiying, through a series of understated yet sparkling scenes, quietly wrote their own footnote. This brightness isn't superficial flirtation, but a genuine immersion captured by the camera. It's a natural trust that emerges when you truly understand each other's performance rhythm and emotional frequency. In front of the camera, they don't need repeated testing. A pause, a breath, is enough to precisely connect their emotional moments. What the audience sees isn't a display of acting skills, but two hearts gently resonating on the same beat. This is precisely why their scenes together are so captivating. It's not the kind of instant, fleeting excitement, but a lingering, heart-fluttering feeling that grows richer with each viewing. The first time you watch, you're struck by their eyes. The second time, you start noticing the details. The third time, you suddenly realize that the emotions have already been subtly laid out. This kind of pairing is naturally suited for repeated discussion and interpretation. In the short drama genre, which heavily relies on emotional density, most couples rely on forceful plot progression, but they rely on a sense of relationship. This sense of relationship doesn't come from dialogue, but is reflected in the distance between their positions, the speed of their turns, and even the moment of simultaneous silence. It is precisely these blanks overlooked by many works that make their emotions seem real and believable. Some say that Wang Haozhen finally shed the sharp shell of his previous roles in front of Zhai Yiying. Others say that Zhai Yiying, in contrast to Wang Haozhen, is no longer just sweet, but possesses a steadfastness capable of bearing the weight of the story. This mutual nourishment makes their collaboration more than just entertaining. It has the value of being remembered. Perhaps many years later, after the short drama scene has undergone several changes, when people look back on this partnership, they will still clearly remember that feeling, not dramatic, but heart-wrenching, not deliberately sentimental, but striking a soft spot in a certain moment. Only then will everyone understand that some sparks don't need to ignite a raging fire. Simply shining quietly is enough to illuminate people's hearts. What truly captivates is never just a single iconic scene, but the consistent, stable emotions they project throughout the entire work. It's an attraction that's never overdone, yet always present. You'll notice that whenever the camera cuts to them, the atmosphere changes, even the background music seems to slow down, pulled by the emotions. Wang Haozhen's restraint gives the emotions depth. He doesn't rush to express his love, but allows the emotions to settle and ferment in his eyes, while Zhai Yiying's vivacity is like a beam of light, shining perfectly into his world. Every time she approaches, it's not a forced intrusion, but a gentle permeation. Thus, what the audience sees isn't a formulaic sweet romance, but a relationship built with breath and warmth. This slow burn is especially precious in short dramas. It gives the emotions a growth trajectory and allows the audience to participate. You unconsciously stand in the characters' shoes, feeling tense for them, and even sensing the quietly growing attraction before they've spoken a word. Perhaps this is why their collaboration is repeatedly mentioned and revisited. It not only fulfilled the audience's imagination of love but also responded to the current audience's desire for realism. When filters fade and clichés fail, what truly remains is the genuine emotional connection between people. And Wang Haozhen and Zhai Yiying, precisely at this juncture, provided the most convincing answer through their subtle eye contact and companionship. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.